So you've been bitten by the Miro bug, huh?
Sounds like it.
Stacks of articles about Joan Miró. That's more than a passing curiosity.
Definitely.
And yeah, his work, it can feel deceptively simple at first, all those, bright colors, playful shapes.
Right.
But I get it. You sense there's more to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something deeper, something beyond just like colorful squiggles.
And you would be absolutely right. Yeah, Miro often gets pigeonholed as whimsical or childlike.
Yeah.
But that's really just scratching the surface.
Right.
What makes him truly captivating is the depth and complexity woven into those, like you said, those seemingly simple forms.
Okay, so let's dive in.
That's it.
His early life in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Not your typical artist's journey, was it?
No, not at all.
Born in 1893, Miro's family pretty adamant that he pursued a respectable career.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of art school, they pushed him towards a soul-crushing accounting job.
Ooh.
Anyone else out there feel that on a personal level?
I think we've all been there.
So he eventually ditches the ledger books, dives headfirst back into art school.
Good for him.
By 1919, he's on his way to Paris.
Paris, here we come.
And Paris in the roaring 20s,
Uh-huh.
basically the epicenter of like the avant-garde art world.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Dadaism is turning heads.
Right.
Cubism is already making waves.
Yeah.
And then bam, surrealism explodes onto the scene.
Like a firework. And this is where things get really, really exciting for Miro.
Yeah.
He arrives in Paris. He's rubbing shoulders with, like, artistic giants like Picasso. Talk about a dream team encounter.
Right.
But here's the fascinating part. Even though Miro is often labeled as a surrealist,
Right.
he never actually joined their movement officially.
Really?
Never officially joined. He even said that he used surrealism as a tool to transcend painting, rather than being defined by it.
Okay.
So he charted his own course, embracing his own unique brand of, artistic rebellion.
I love that. He's hanging out with like the revolutionaries of the art world.
Yeah.
But he's not letting them put him in a box.
Right.
And his independent streak, it shines through in his work, right?
Totally.
While Dali is off painting melting clocks, Miro gravitates towards these, again, deceptively simple, almost primal forms. Stars, birds, women. It's interesting, though, because the articles mentioned this fascination he had with prehistoric cave paintings.
Yeah.
Now, that seems like a bit of a leap, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Not at all. No, not at all. Because, see, for Miro, prehistoric art,
Okay.
it held a key, right? It unlocks something universal, I think, in the human experience.
Okay.
It bypassed all the intellectual baggage, all the rules, all the expectations that had built up, over centuries of art history.
Right.
And it just tapped into something primal,
Right.
something deeply, deeply emotional.
So it wasn't just about the age of the paintings themselves,
No.
but about that rawness,
Yes.
the pure expression they embodied.
100%. That's exactly it. Miro wanted to recapture that directness, that ability to connect with viewers on a purely emotional level. And that's where I think his fascination with those simple, almost archetypal forms comes in.
Right.
He wasn't trying to create like realistic depictions of the world,
Right.
but rather to distill things down to their essence,
Okay.
to those fundamental shapes and symbols that I think resonate, deep within us.
So I'm starting to see the connection here.
Yeah.
It's about tapping into a more visceral, almost instinctive response.
Yes.
And this actually helps explain why his work often gets labeled as childlike.
Exactly. It's not about being childish, right?
Well,
It's about accessing a kind of purity of expression that, we often lose sight of as we get older.
Right.
Think about how kids approach art. They're not afraid to experiment. They're not afraid to be bold, to express themselves without, overthinking it.
Yeah.
Miro wanted to tap back into that uninhibited creativity, that freedom from self-consciousness.
It makes you wonder if that's why his work can feel so playful and joyful.
Yeah.
Even when it deals with, these darker themes.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, the articles I read touched on a particularly poignant period in Miro's life.
Yeah.
The late 1930s. Europe is on the brink of war.
Right.
And he's forced to flee Spain with his family.
It's hard to imagine, isn't it?
It's hard to imagine the turmoil, the uncertainty he must have felt.
Absolutely. Imagine being uprooted from your home, your homeland, facing the very real threat of war.
Yeah.
It was a deeply, deeply unsettling time for Miro.
Yeah.
Yet amidst this chaos,
Creates some of his most, I think, iconic and moving work. The Constellation series.
The constellations, yeah. Those paintings are incredible. Stars, birds, lovers.
Right.
All these ethereal figures floating in these vibrant cosmic spaces.
Yes.
They're beautiful, but there's definitely an underlying tension there.
Absolutely.
A sense of fragility, you know?
Exactly. For Miro, constellations, they were more than just like pretty pictures. They were a refuge, a way to find solace and hope in the face of, really overwhelming darkness.
Yeah.
He once said that he would listen to the war news on the radio while working on these paintings,
Oh, wow.
almost as a way to like counteract the horrors of the real world
Yeah.
with his own, universe of color and light.
So in a way, he was creating his own constellations.
His own points of light to guide him through the darkness.
Exactly.
Right.
He was taking these incredibly simple forms, right? Stars, birds, lovers.
Right.
And imbuing them with these layers of meaning and emotion.
Wow.
The lines in the constellations, I think, are particularly striking.
Yeah.
They're delicate, almost fragile, which, reflects, I think, the uncertainty and fragility of wartime.
Right.
Yet they also kind of dance across a canvas,
Yeah.
creating a sense of movement and energy that I think speaks to the resilience of the human spirit.
It's amazing how he could convey so much with so little. There's a quote from him that really stuck with me. Something about wanting to assassinate painting.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, that sounds so violent.
Right.
He wasn't literally like attacking painting, was he?
No, not at all. He was talking about, dismantling those traditional rules and conventions,
Right.
the things that had come to define art, right?
Right.
He wanted to strip away the excess, the unnecessary complexity, and just get back to the raw, expressive power of,
Yeah.
pure form and color.
So it's like he was assassinating the old way of seeing,
Yes.
the old way of experiencing art,
100%.
and clearing the way for something new,
Yes.
something fresh,
Yeah.
something immediate.
Exactly. And I think, it's about achieving maximum impact
Right.
with minimal means.
Right.
And that, in a way, is like the essence of Miro's genius.
Wow.
He understood that true depth,
Yeah.
it doesn't require complexity.
Right.
Sometimes it's about stripping things down
Yeah.
to their most fundamental elements.
Yep.
Those universal symbols that resonate, deep within us.
Right.
That speak to our, our shared humanity.
And that's something, we can all learn from.
Oh,
In
absolutely.
a world that's constantly trying to make things like bigger and bolder and louder and more complex,
Yeah.
Miro reminds us that sometimes the most profound truths, they're hidden in plain sight.
That's beautifully put.
Or in his case,
Mhm.
in simple lines and vibrant colors.
Yes. He challenges us to slow down,
Yeah,
to really look,
right.
to engage with art, not just with our minds,
Yeah.
but with our hearts and our souls.
Yeah,
To let those simple forms unlock something within us,
right.
to evoke an emotion,
Yeah.
a memory, a sense of wonder.
It's about tapping into that primal energy, that universal language
Yeah.
that transcends like words and intellect.
Exactly. And, the beauty of Miro's work is, it offers a doorway to that experience. It's not about, deciphering complex symbolism or following a linear narrative.
Right.
It's about letting yourself feel.
Right.
Letting yourself be moved by the pure expressive power of color and line and form.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Joan Miró, what's the one thing you hope our listener will take away from this?
I would say this. The next time you encounter a Miro, whether it's in a museum, a book, even on a coffee mug,
Yeah.
take a moment to really see it. Go beyond the surface.
Yeah.
Go beyond those playful shapes and vibrant colors. And just, let yourself connect with that raw emotional energy that Miro poured into his work.
Right.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
Beautifully put. And on that note, we'll leave you to explore the world of Joan Miró with fresh eyes and an open heart. Until next time, happy exploring.